There are some in the hygiene industry that view adhesives as a necessary evil, as something that can get the job done, but aren't always the best to work with. As an adhesive producer, we don't agree with that at all. In fact, when used correctly and backed by a company that offers expertise and support, we think adhesives can help you achieve all of your business goals, whether it be reducing costs, materials, or downtime, transitioning to more sustainable materials or products, making your products more comfortable or aesthetically pleasing, or just making sense of changes or new trends in the industry. Adhesive and adhesive application equipment producers can help. We know many hygiene article producers can't be experts on adhesives and all of the other materials and pieces of equipment that go into producing their products. Luckily, Bostik is here to help. Welcome to Attached to Hygiene. I'm your host, Jack Hughes. On every episode of Attached to Hygiene, Bostik and other industry experts provide valuable insight into market and consumer trends in the disposable hygiene industry and how article producers can increase their success and reach their business goals. On today's episode, we're going to introduce you to the benefits of adhesives as a bonding solution, how long adhesives have been used in hygiene articles, how they can support initiatives like product design, aesthetics, sustainability, operations, and cost reduction, and how adhesive producers and adhesive application equipment manufacturers can help support your team and product improvements. Here to help me discuss the benefits of adhesives as a bonding technology are Alan Ramspeck from Nordson and Russ Stuczynski from Bostik. Alan, as our guest from outside of Bostik, we'll start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background in the industry and what you find most interesting about working in the hygiene industry?
Well, hello, Jack and Russ, and thanks for including me in today's Bostik podcast. I am this year celebrating 30 years with Nordson. First 10 years of my career were in engineering, the next 10 in product line management, and this last 10 in marketing roles. And most of that time's been spent in what Nordson refers to as our nonwovens business, really focused on disposable, absorbent hygiene articles like baby diapers, fem care products, adult Inco, and related products. And I'd say the thing that I really enjoy about the industry is that it's highly competitive. Customers are always innovating, and we get to participate in that innovation, deliver value. And also, I'd say the other part is the global nature of the business is really amazing. It's really offered me a lot of opportunities to travel, interact with customers and colleagues around the world, and a lot of co-suppliers like Bostik, as we kind of compare notes and collaborate and kind of get our different takes on the industry, just kind of like what we're doing today.
Absolutely. I'd say the one big thing that I like, or one of the many things that I like, is that global nature of the business and having global customers, global organizations, and really being able to interact from people from all sorts of different regions and different backgrounds, which is really, really great. Mm-hmm. And Russ, same to you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what you find most interesting about working in the hygiene industry?
I joined the nonwovens group within Finley Adhesives at the time, about 1985. Prior to that, I had spent a number of years in quality and then in flexible packaging technical support. And I guess what I appreciate being in the industry is just seeing the growth in productivity and quality, just the product development over the years and where the industry has come in the 35 years since I've joined.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been great to see that innovation. I mean, even in the last 4.5 years since I've been at Bostik and working in this industry, the innovations and the changes in the industry have been a lot to keep up with. So I'm sure in your slightly longer career in the hygiene industry, you've seen a lot of changes, and I certainly understand that excitement. So we'll dive right into the subject of our podcast today, or our episode today, which is hot melt adhesives and adhesives as a bonding technology. And Alan, we'll start with you. Can you give us a little background on how long hot melt adhesives have been used in the production of hygiene articles?
Yeah, I have to say that, my 30 years, Russ has 35, so he has an extra 5 years of perspective on me. But back when I joined Nordson in 1990, 30 years ago, 1990, 1991, there was a transformation of technology, adhesive bonding technology, moving from fine lines, construction to our Nordson controlled fiberization, which is a swirling of adhesive. And for me, that was a really important step in terms of the modernization of let's say, the baby diaper. I do know that historically, another key milestone was the introduction of the super absorbent. It's probably defining the modern diaper in a lot of ways, even though, disposable diapers go back many years. I understand that happened in the early to mid 80s. And so that's kind of we're talking about adhesive usage over many, many years, but really an evolution in terms of the adhesive formulations, and the techniques for dispensing adhesive have changed over the years considerably to really support innovation and speed increases, and really improve product designs.
Alan, I certainly agree with you on a couple of the milestones. I think we've been fortunate that we've had a little bit of a diaper museum within Bostic. And so we had some early samples that date back to like the mid 50s. So, longer than I've been alive. And, at that time, the diaper was pretty primitive. So I could best describe it as like a couple layers of paper towel with a polyethylene back sheet and a bead of adhesive down each side to hold everything together. Mm-hmm. It was fastened with the same safety pins that cloth diapers were in the day, and was really marketed towards people vacationing. So they didn't have to worry about, carrying along dirty cloth diapers until they got to their travel destination. So I think that was the start of it. But, as Alan mentioned, the absorbent core, and specifically super absorbents, and then, the development of elastic attachment leg gathers and such were all some pretty significant milestones in the road.
I knew that the original diapers were pretty much just some paper towels with a little bit of adhesive and obviously a connection point with the safety pins. And I've also heard of some feminine hygiene products being something pretty similar with a sort of belt or chassis. But I didn't realize that they were really just marketed to people who were traveling. And obviously now they are the standard of the industry. So that's something new that I learned today, which is great. Now, Russ, we'll start with you on this one. What are the key areas where adhesive technology brings value to the hygiene article?
I think if I can summarize that, it's really product design flexibility, which then leads to kind of improved comfort, fit, and performance of the finished product. So essentially, the adhesives kind of enable you to virtually select the optimal material for any application and then combine them in an efficient manner.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, Russ. I think the flexibility is really key. I always, of course, we serve lots of different lines of business, as does Bostic. I always say, with the right adhesive and the right dispensing equipment, you can bond virtually anything together. This industry in particular is really a great example of adhesives and adhesive dispensing equipment enabling high-speed production of high-quality products. I mean, you're talking baby diapers, state-of-the-art, let's call it 1,200 diapers per minute, right, depending on the product size, 20 diapers per second. And you just kind of try to wrap your head around that, 20 pieces per second of a product that has, really a lot of technology, a lot of layers, a lot of bonding applications, sometimes, the advanced features like wetness indicators or other additives. And so it's to me, it's that it's the flexibility in product design, it's the product of production efficiency, And the flexibility also to accommodate, the realities of reproduction world, which are often, producing a production asset, maybe producing multiple product sizes, or let's say a premium product and a basic product. So there's a lot of changeover, and that's supported by adhesives, by the adhesive technology, the formulations, and the dispensing equipment. Really do a great job in terms of delivering that high quality, that production efficiency, that low cost. It's really pretty amazing.
For sure. And Alan, you mentioned the 1,200 pieces a minute. I think both of you have probably been in a few more diaper manufacturing facilities or hygiene manufacturers facilities than I have. But when you see those machines running and just kind of whipping out diapers or pads or really any sort of hygiene product, it's really impressive to see. And I think something that's probably taken for granted by most users or purchasers of the product. Now, Alan, you touched a little bit on the production efficiency and some of the benefits to the article producers themselves outside of the benefits that are brought to the articles. But is there anything that you'd like to add to that outside of maybe production efficiency and the quality?
Yeah, I think for our mutual customers, again, we are delivering a time-tested, proven technology. I think there's it works. It's demonstrated to work in production. It is the standard today. I think we tried to make our systems easier to use. Certainly, try to identify opportunities where we could deliver value to the industry. I think it's always really important to consider at the end of the day, there's somebody that's tasked with making a product, and there's a lot of pressure in these production environments. Think about that 1,200 diapers per minute. I try to use the analogy of a money printing machine because it's really what it is. The machine stops, it's not printing money, and the pressure is really high in a production environment. And so our systems, the adhesive bonding systems, have a high degree of reliability to ensure, maximum production uptime. Again, they're kind of a known technology. And there's also, sustainability that factors into it. And, that's a hot topic of the day. And I think there, you're talking about the ability to accommodate trends in materials without really limitations. Again, we can bond virtually any substrates, sheet-based, strand-based, sheet-based, cores, three-dimensional, perforated. All these things can be bonded with the right adhesive bonding solution, right adhesive, the right solution, right dispensing equipment. And so, we're really supporting sustainability in terms of what is, I think it's really a revolution in terms of material sciences, in terms of the substrates that are being used. You're starting to see a lot of natural-based materials. Cotton is becoming more prevalent. You see a lot of premium products with cotton content, for example. And, adhesives have no problem accommodating the various new materials that are on the market.
I agree with you, Alan. You look at operational efficiency and flexibility, and I've been on trials that lasted a couple of days where the private label manufacturer had literally changed products and, produced 3 different products, substantially different products within the course of the trial. And all of those were relatively efficient changeover. And the adhesive systems really allow that to happen quickly with minimal scrap, and you mentioned sustainability, and it's not only kind of the new substrates that we're working with today, but just the continuum of down gauging of top sheets, back sheets that I can think of, and even in the changeover process, just really minimizing, production scrap in that process to be back up and running and producing sellable, top quality product as fast as you can.
Well, that was a whole lot of information, but I definitely want to dive deeper into a couple of the things that each of you mentioned. You talked cost, operations, aesthetics and comfort, product design, and sustainability. I think were the big ones. Given that you both just mentioned sustainability and some of the benefits, I think I want to dive into that one first. So obviously adhesives are a pretty small part of the article, so it's hard to believe that we can make such an impact on sustainability and the sustainability of the product. So can you tell me a little more about how adhesives can play a role in sustainability? And Alan, I think we'll start with you.
Sure, Jack. Yeah, adhesives. I think for most products, they're really a small portion of the product. I think on average, somewhere around 3%. And so, the again, it's that flexibility to accommodate the different substrates. That's creating a lot of opportunities for the producers. Again, I mentioned previously, it's a really competitive business, and that's one thing I really like about it. It's always evolving. They're always trying to gain market share. They're trying to deliver value to their customers. They want to have the best product on the market. They want to have their babies and wearing the best, right? They want them to be comfortable. They want to avoid any sort of skin irritation and so on. And so parents are looking for that. It's really ultimately what's driving the market. It's the opportunities to sell more of your product, gain market share, or gain in profit. And that's done with differentiation. I think those producers that don't continue to innovate, they'll be left behind. And a big part of that, I think, for the younger generation is much more in tune with earth friendliness, sustainability, and so on. And they're almost kind of getting to a point where, and you can survey the products on the market, you see more and more of these products and product claims that are, bio-based, crop-based, natural. All you have to do is, survey your shelves at your local market or one of the online retailers, and you can see that those trends are undeniable. So it's that natural content that I think, there's a pull from the market, the customers, and ultimately it's that adhesives that are enabling a lot of that development. So again, I think that's we play a really important role in the overall process. And again, I think we continue to look for opportunities. I think that's the beauty of the industry, is it's never standing still. We're always trying to participate. That's the fun part of it. You want to be part of that solution. You want to be part of the change, part of the evolution, part of the improvement. And we play an important part, both the adhesive formulators and the equipment suppliers.
Yeah, I mean, today's substrates certainly are interesting and directionally moving towards more natural or sustainable materials. We're actually working to do the same with the adhesives themselves. And as you mentioned, I think today's parents are much more serious. We've both been in the industry long enough to seen a couple waves of sustainability, but this one seems to be a much stronger wave that I think is going to stay with us for years to come.
Yeah, you think about, Russ, about the some of the recent developments. Recent for me being time goes by quickly. So it's probably about 5 years ago, give or take. I could be off. My sense of time as I get older seems to be a bit distorted. But like the move to thin, to more garment-like products. It was the P&G Dry Max core that kind of led the way, and then a lot of other companies followed. And that's to me another important milestone in terms of the transformation of the products, thinner products. There's less material there. It poses real challenges in those cases with high super absorbent content to fluff or wood pulp, and you have to stabilize it. So there's always these challenges, and it's kind of behind the scenes work. I think most people, consumers of let's say baby diaper, they're not thinking about the adhesive in the product, right? They care about the fit. They care about the comfort, right? The convenience. And, that's kind of the beauty of it. We're working behind the scenes, enabling a lot of these advancements that they're benefiting from. So again, that's to me kind of rewarding. But again, the innovation in the industry is undeniable. I expect it to continue, well into the future.
Yeah, it's crazy to see all the changes. It's Russ, you made the comment that you think this kind of new wave of, and not so much new, but this most recent wave of sustainable products is here to stay. I would completely agree. I think we can see inside of Bostik and definitely within our customers and the allied suppliers and other suppliers in the industry, the seriousness with which they're pursuing and taking this new sustainability trend. And I don't know if I guess we would call it a trend. And yeah, just the innovation and design of the products and how those are moving and evolving has been fun to see and interesting to see just over the last 5 years, but even looking back a little further than that. Now, diving into that product design and innovation a little bit, Russ, we'll start with you on this one. How do you see that adhesive technology supporting the design of the product?
Well, again, I think, as we change materials, the adhesives are, a catalyst to kind of adapt to the different range of materials and really allow the manufacturers to optimize, each component within the disposable article.
Yeah, I think that's key. It's that flexibility, right? I mean, I think that the reality today is that product designs are kind of built around adhesive capabilities, and the products are designed for that. And there is a lot of flexibility there, and whether it's in substrates or different product sizes or features, it's going to be interesting to see where the industry goes in the future. But I think one thing's for certain is, change is inevitable. And, adhesive bonding technology has proven to be very capable in terms of supporting change. And so I think, moving forward as equipment investments are made, I think it's a safe bet. It's a low risk bet to invest in adhesive bonding technology. I think it's going to serve the market well for many years to come.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think, as you said, the adhesive formulations and the application technology has certainly kind of evolved every step of the way as the products have evolved. And obviously, both Nordson and Bostik are heavily invested in continuing on with that to continue to support our customers and the industry as a whole as it continues to evolve.
Yeah, we're certainly not standing still, right? I know there's just a tremendous amount of activity. I can speak directly for Nordson. We're investing heavily. I know leading companies like Bostik are investing heavily, accommodating the trends, looking into the future, trying to anticipate changes. One example of that is, we anticipate speed changes. So if the state of the art today is 1,200 diapers per minute, we want to make sure we're prepared for 1,500 or above. And so that's kind of something that, we mutually, I think, look at as industry leaders. We're anticipating the changes, what the industry needs from us, and proactively working on development so that, we can continue to support the industry.
No, and I know we talked about the evolution of substrates and disposable products and milestones in the converting industry, but looking over my career here too, just some of the milestones that Nordson has helped us with as far as the flexibility. It's maybe not the newest, but the whole technology platform just allows so much flexibility, as you mentioned. Now you can change different spray technologies, slot coating technology, and other advances, even like Trio. Again, just give great flexibility and control, as you mentioned, as we continue to kind of push the line speed capabilities and continue to maintain or even increase quality standards as well at these, new line speed thresholds.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Russ. It reminds me that sometimes you get the question, well, why not just use one adhesive and one dispensing technology for every application? Let's say there's 16 applications in a product, for example, depending on how heavily featured it is. Why don't you just use one spray nozzle, one dispensing technique? Why don't you use just one adhesive instead of multiple adhesives? Why do you have construction elastic and these specialty adhesive formulations? It's really a reflection that the emphasis is on producing the best product to win market share. Ultimately, the producers, they have to differentiate. It's all about producing a product product that the consumers want, right? It's not about producing the simplest, lowest cost product. Job one is producing the product that the consumers want, because that's the way they get rewarded with market share. Then the profitability follows. So again, that's why companies like Bostik and Nordson have a portfolio of products to really optimize the different applications, optimize for performance, optimize for, let's say, comfort, optimize for cost. It's all has to be considered at the end of the day. So it's not a one size fits all approach. Again, that keeps it interesting. Working in an industry where there's the emphasis is on, innovation, making the best, highly competitive, being better than your competition, it's a great place to be. And again, for me, that's a big part of my satisfaction with working in an industry for, the better part of 30 years now.
Great point there, Alan. Yeah, I certainly remember many years ago when more of the disposable hygiene lines were the multi-purpose adhesive, or 2, maybe 3 adhesives was cutting edge technology. And I know, again, one of the recent line commissionings that I was involved in right before COVID, I think there were 7 different Nordson melt systems on the line. And I can tell you that there were some of the same adhesives in different melt tanks. It was certainly configured to give us flexibility for the future. Should some of those materials change, now we could easily change adhesives and help the customer meet their customers' needs.
Yeah, and I think we'll touch on this many times in this episode, and Alan, you've already mentioned this, but it's really about kind of enabling our customers, the article producers, to meet the needs of their customers, and adhesives and the application systems can do that. We do that really well, and it alludes to that. We can't have a one size fits all, because different producers are doing different things to not just serve their markets overall, but to serve different needs in different regions. So really being able to be flexible across the board has really benefited us in being able to properly serve our customers. Now, we touched a little bit on product design, and Alan, you alluded to this a little bit, but we know that the majority of adhesive applications are not visible to the consumer. So what do you mean that they bring aesthetic benefits in your comments earlier? And we'll start with you, Alan.
Yeah, so aesthetics to me means more than just kind of visual appearance. I think most people think, aesthetics, it's, pleasing to the eye. But I think in the case of, these products, it's, it's the total experience, right? It's engaging all your senses. You think about it again in the context of, I'm a new parent. I have a, beautiful baby at home. I want them to have the best, right? I want to take the best care of them that I can. It's really about the visual, the quality of the product, the consistency of the product. It's about the feel of the product. It's about the smell of the product, right? It's engaging all the senses. So the aesthetics of it is really the total experience. It's the fit. To me, it's also the fit of the product. How well does it fit? Is it comfortable? Is the parent, feeling like they're doing right by their child? A lot of that has to do with the substrate developments, things like, cotton. Cotton to me, at least in the United States, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but it's kind of it's the standard for comfort, right? What do you go to on a hot day? I want a cotton breathable shirt, right? I want to be comfortable. Well, I want my baby to be comfortable as well. So again, it's getting back to the adhesives accommodating the different substrates. It's about adhesives being able to manage things like odor, low odor, no odor. It's the look, the fit, the feel of those products that are enabled through adhesive bonding technology. Again, all done at super high speeds. What the consumer doesn't see is that those diapers that you have in your hand, that 20 pieces were produced in 1 second. That's pretty amazing. So that you can produce a product with those aesthetics, that quality, that look and feel at such high production speeds, is really, I think, is pretty amazing.
Agree. As you mentioned, aesthetics goes way beyond visual, and we do a lot of work here on, again, odor control and softness of products, and just not, softness of the individual materials, but then when we create an article out of it, that article itself, is held to those same high softness standards and quality standards. It's pretty amazing what we're able to do when you combine the adhesive and application technologies.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that, Russ. It's when you go to a diaper line, you see the rolls of materials, you see the melt tanks, you see also all this different machinery and all the materials in different places. And Alan, you mentioned it's coming out 20 pieces a second, and to be able to produce that quality product that not just meets the kind of basic need of working and not leaking, but also is aesthetically comfortable and isn't harmful and holds together and is easy to ship, doesn't smell, all that stuff. It's very impressive to see and to think about when you take a step back. Now, diving a little deeper into the operations, you both have touched on this, and I can't speak for you, Alan, but I know when any of our customers are having kind of operational issues or questions of surrounding the adhesives, Russ is our go-to guy internally for across the globe. So can you talk a little bit about the enablement of the operations for article producers that adhesives contribute to? And Russ, we'll start with you.
Again, as you mentioned, the adhesives and the application equipment is a technology that, our customers are very familiar and comfortable with. They certainly do call us to, consult on occasion if they have a problem. I also know that, Nordson has a network of, technical reps in different regions that are waiting to serve customers as well. And working together, again, if the customer does have a problem, I think we're both very responsive and can get customers back up and running with really minimal downtime. And as Alan mentioned earlier in the interview, when the machine's not running, it's not making money. So minimizing the downtime, I think, is huge.
Yeah, I agree, Russ. That's, again, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the guy that's on the floor running the machine. It's a stressful environment, like a lot of industries. We're doing the same job with fewer people, and so reliability is really the name of the game. You have to be running day in, day out, right? You have to have equipment that's easy to use. That everything requires some service, but it has to be easy to service, get it back up and running, minimize the downtime, hopefully, schedule, have any sort of maintenance operations that can be predicted and taken care of during, scheduled downtime. So again, we're very sensitive to that. I think mutually that, we need to deliver robust, reliable bonding solutions that help our customers be successful. I think we both have that's something that Bostik and Nordson shares. We do have organizations and a business model that's it's a high level of support. It's not about just selling the equipment. It's about pre and post sale. It's about building those relationships and being there. There are issues in everything, right? No matter how good something is, issues do arise. And I think what separates the elite, the best suppliers from the rest is those instances when, hey, there's a problem. And when if you call Bostik, you call Nordson, you're going to get support. You're going to get somebody, you're going to get a level of support to get it addressed and get you back in operation or addressing whatever that is. So again, to me, that's something I personally take pride in. I like working for a company that, again, puts the customer first. And I think that's what we have mutually between Nordson and Bostik is we have that commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to toot our own horns, but obviously some of that support and additional, education and things like that trickles down to things like this, podcast. We invest in not just the support on the line, but the support to educate the customers and the industry at large on what's going on, what trends are happening, and all sorts of different topics. And I think there are many organizations in the industry that do that and do that well and pride themselves on that. And I think it lends itself to a much better educated industry overall, and one that's able to kind of move forward quickly and evolve, because there's companies out there that are willing to share information and spread it as much as possible. So, and yeah, Alan, you said you take pride in it. We certainly take pride in that as well. Now, I think it would be inappropriate not to recognize the existence of alternate bonding technologies out there, such as ultrasonic bonding, a competitor of ours. Cost being a very important topic, subject, concern for not just producers, but all the suppliers and even consumers, the end consumers. How would you compare the cost of using hot melt adhesive to other technologies? And Alan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so it's a good topic to touch on for sure. Ultrasonic bonding. There's been significant promotion of that technology in the industry, probably going back 4 or 5 years. Probably an acceleration and really a strong push at the OEM level to investigate where that technology fits and the cost of it. So cost is it's kind of a loaded term. What is cost? I mean, you have to look at the total cost of ownership ultimately, and ultrasonic bonding makes the claim, of course, that the adhesive cost is eliminated, but again, you have to look at the total cost, and adhesive cost is a consumable. It's kind of a pay-as-you-go model versus the ultrasonic bonding model, which is a more significant initial investment. And I think some of the ultrasonic bonding companies claim about a 2-year payback. But I think what you have to keep in mind is that adhesive allows you to do things that you can't do ultimately with ultrasonic bonding. So we talked about some of the natural substrates. Ultrasonic bonding relies on melting of the substrates. Basically, it's a welding process. You can think of it that way. And some of the trends in industry, like thinner substrates, can be very difficult to bond reliably and consistently with ultrasonic bonding. I'm not saying, again, take it with a grain of salt. I mean, of course, I work for a company that's firmly invested in the adhesives business, right? But I try to be fair about it. And there are places certainly where structural, when you only want to bond and it's structural, there are places that or features and products that have been served by ultrasonic bonding over the years, like some side seaming on the on pant products and cuff tack down and so on. They can also be done with adhesives, but it's not uncommon to see those. But some of the pushes into other applications, honestly, have really failed. In fact, recently we've started to see a trend where we are replacing ultrasonic bonding equipment with adhesive equipment. And why is that? It's really about what we talked about today is flexibility, is that there is an inherent inflexibility to ultrasonic bonding. If you're making the same product day in, day out, and it works well, and you're not going to change the size, you're not going to change the materials, that might be a different story. But again, we talked today about the innovation of the industry, the changes in substrates, the changes that are happening today, the changes that will happen tomorrow that we don't even know about. Again, it really comes down to risk and capabilities. And so to me, ultimately, adhesive bonding is a much lower risk option. And it also does things that ultrasonic bonding ultimately can't do. Again, in fairness, there are places and applications where it does make sense. Again, it really depends on the product, the production scenario, and so on. So I think both have a place, but I strongly believe that adhesive bonding has some very distinct advantages.
Agreed. And, again, I think you do have to give credit where credit is due. There are some places where technologies like ultrasonic bonding or, cold pressure welding, things like this, actually served the industry very well over the years. You mentioned side seams in the pull-on type products, leg cuffs as far as closure around the elastic strands. Those all have kind of proven themselves and been a niche over the years. The caution there being, as you mentioned, now if changing substrates, you can quickly run into a challenge. Another area that we've kind of seen alternate bonding technologies on and off is in mechanical fastener areas, sometimes with and without adhesive. And sometimes I think the adhesive has played a role when there's been maybe a material change and, one technology doesn't quite get the job done by itself, then we end up combining technologies to make an acceptable quality product. The other concern, we've talked about sustainability and down gauging, and with some of the other bonding technologies, sometimes we've heard of risks of overbonding. And in that case, overbonding can lead to pinholing, and pinholing can lead to leakage and, negative consumer feedback. So again, as you mentioned, I think the adhesive technology over the years has kind of proven itself to be extremely reliable, for our customers and gives them a quality product to pass on to the consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great assessment. I mean, we know there are benefits for USB technology. We know there are benefits for adhesives, obviously, and we are invested in those benefits. But it's been interesting to see how those both sides of the coin have evolved a little bit, and will continue to evolve to serve the needs of customers. Now, related to, I think, Alan, your comment earlier about adhesives being consumables, I guess I'll be a bit controversial here. We've heard the phrase that hot melt adhesives can be described as a necessary evil, but I think it's clear from our discussion that they not only bring value, but are the most flexible bonding solution for today's products. And both of you have discussed a lot about that to meet the needs of the consumer. So, Russ, we'll start with you. What are you working on, or what is Bostik working on to make the use of adhesives even more easier? That's not proper. Even easier and more appealing.
I mean, I guess this is where I feel a high level of ownership, kind of having been on the applications end of the adhesive for most of my career. But when I hear that adhesive is a necessary evil, my usual response is you haven't talked to people like me or Alan enough. And just to expand on that, I really think that some of the adhesive applications have maybe gotten a bad rap, maybe from either some low cost raw materials or maybe inferior application equipment, things like operator training. You kind of combine all of those. And again, when I hear a response that adhesive is a necessary evil, I'm like, I guess I'd like to spend a little more time with you and introduce you to Bostik and kind of look at your equipment capabilities and maybe make some suggestions for improvement, because I don't think adhesive should be viewed as the necessary evil. I think they, in many cases, should be viewed as, this allows us to do X, which we couldn't do with another technology.
Yeah, I think I can hear the passion in your voice, Russ. You hear evil. It's something is near and dear to your heart. You spent much of your career on the front lines, if you will, right, on application focused. And when I see necessary evil, I kind of like you. I like taking it back a little bit. Hey, that's what we do, and we take a lot of pride in that. And so, I think reality, though, you strip that back and necessary. I like to hear necessary. At least it acknowledges that adhesives and adhesive bonding are a really critical part of what they do today. And again, what they do is pretty phenomenal. The high production speed, the high product quality is really a modern marvel, I think. And are we perfect? Are there experiences that our customers have had that might be negative in terms of their adhesive experience? Sure, a lot of that's there are things out there. And again, as you mentioned, we don't know the history, but we're committed to being the best we can be. We know there's always opportunity for improvement. We like to spend a lot lot of time listening to customers and understanding, where we can be better, where we can deliver value. And, we're committed to doing that. We're committed to, on the equipment side of things, making things, even more reliable, easier to service when you do need to service them, that it can be, things like single minute exchange of nozzles or filters or service items, trying to make it more intuitive, simpler, trying to relieve the operators of any burden of maintaining or operating the equipment, trying to make their lives easier. So again, we're always looking for opportunities to do that. And, we're committed to kind of a brighter future, but we think that the core technology, adhesive bonding, it's here to stay. It's being applied to many different industries. And again, it's the right adhesive with the right equipment will deliver a very positive experience, allow producers to be very successful, today and into the future.
I agree. And, as I was listening to you here, I was thinking, you talk about two companies that are kind of committed to the industry. And I know we both have extensive application laboratories where, we're more than happy to work with customers to really optimize the performance of not only our systems, but material combinations and ultimately their product. And again, I think our commitment to the industry there is something that you don't necessarily see with some other options.
Good point, Russ. I know both Bostik and Nordson have labs globally that are really intended to support customers in terms of applications and exploration. And of course, the reality is the production environment is not a place for testing. It's focused singularly on producing product, right? And so those assets that we offer our customers can be really invaluable in terms of their assessment of different ideas. And so, we're always, excited to work with customers on new ideas they might have and trying to, again, it's another way we can deliver value. And I agree with you. That's not something that's necessarily the norm in the industry, but something where, companies like Nordson and Bostik excel and, differentiate from the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, both of you. I think the ability for adhesives to be, to offer flexibility, the innovation that's happening, not just at Bostik, but, some of our competitors that are enabling some of these trends to move forward, particularly around sustainability. And we mentioned earlier where that's going, and we don't think that's going away by any means. Adhesives are really going to be the enablers to allow for that technology, at least as things stand right now. And we plan to continue to evolve and keep our customers at the center, keep the end consumers in mind, so that ultimately we're producing products that are safe, sustainable, and smart solutions, and at the end of the day work. And I think that the commitment of companies like Bostik and Nordson and the teams there is vital to that in supporting the producers. Well, go ahead, Alan.
Just agreeing. That's at the name. At the end of the day, it's what we do, right? That's we wake up every day and look for ways to support our customers. It's the way it needs to be. Again, we're fortunate to work in an industry where there's so many opportunities for innovation and to participate in that, and that keeps things pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. It's I've said this on a few episodes, but it's certainly never boring working in hygiene and working where I work at Bostik. We're always trying to stay up to date and keep not only our teams informed, but customers informed about what's going on. And it's definitely never boring. Well, thank you both for your time. I certainly appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. And I definitely learned a lot and got some great insights from both of you. And it clearly shows the experience and the knowledge that both of you have gained in your time in the industry. So thank you both for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Jack and Russ. It was a pleasure to participate in the Bostik podcast today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Alan, and thanks for your and Nordson's support over the years.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. We've got some great episodes coming with more guests from both inside and outside of Bostik, and we're excited to be sharing those with you in the coming weeks. Attached to Hygiene is brought to you by Bostik and is hosted by me, Jack Hughes. It is produced and edited by me with the help of Paul Andrews, Michelle Tonkovitz, and Green Onion Creative. Our theme music is by Jonathan Boyle. You can follow Bostik for more hygiene industry insights on LinkedIn at Disposable Hygiene Adhesives, or email us with questions, comments, or ideas for future episodes at hygiene@bostik.com. That's HYGIENE@bostik.com. We'd also like to extend a special thank you to our guests today, Alan Ramspeck from Nordson and Russ Stuczynski from Bostik. You can contact Alan via any of Nordson's social profiles, which are included in the show notes. They are Nordson Adhesive Dispensing Systems on LinkedIn, @Nordson Adhesive on Twitter, and Nordson Adhesive Systems on Facebook. You can find Russ on LinkedIn, or you can feel free to address any emails to Russ at the hygiene@bostik.com email address I just mentioned. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe to the podcast, rate and review the show, and share us with a friend or colleague. You can find Attached to Hygiene wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.